a couple things that's been going on in the real estate world. We're gonna talk about those. We're gonna talk about 70,000 agents have quit. 70,000.
Interesting.
What do you think about that, Renee?
I think it makes perfect sense, man. I mean,
But let's talk about why this happened. How it started. What would you say would be the start of?
I think it's a perfect storm of high rates, low inventory, high inflation, post pandemic.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the thing, right? Like I feel like we're like in, how do they say, like uncharted waters, you know what I mean? In a sense, because this has never happened before. We've never had let's say a COVID pandemic and then inflation at the same time, and then we have an election year coming up. I mean, man,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like a perfect storm, man, of like just the financial and the political all coming together to affect the real estate market. But in my opinion, man, like what's happening right now is we're trimming the fat. In the sense that in the last maybe 2-3 years, it was hey, list my house. You don't even have to take professional pictures. You don't have to really, have a network to sell the home. It's more just you put it up and there's enough buyers that, you're just going to move the house. And what's happening now is it's more expensive for the buyer. So on the professional side, it's like you have to get more creative or explain more options in more detail, provide more options to the buyers, right? And overall, yeah, man, you got to provide more value, man.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening, man. So, the good times were good. A lot of people came into real estate, right? And right now, real estate's a little slower, right? Like I said, all the reasons that I mentioned. So it's a massive exodus, man. I mean, it's projected 60 to 70,000 agents. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of people, bro.
Shocking
And
numbers.
and here's the thing, that's real estate agents. And earlier, remember I was telling you, mortgage lenders. You see what I'm saying?
you
Loan
did say
officers are exiting. I don't know the numbers on that, but I would assume, almost at an equal pace.
A decent amount.
Yeah,
You
man.
look up how many agents there are right now. How many
And that's in Maryland or the country?
It depends what area you're looking at, but it's gonna vary, right?
Yeah.
But it's in those 60, 70,000 range of agents. Agents are just leaving the market, the business.
I mean, bro, if you're not having
by the
closings,
flocks. Yeah, I mean,
if you're not closing deals, then
this puts it
tough.
into perspective how, when I became an agent, the statistic, right, that 80%, maybe now it might be more, 80% of agents
like
quit
failure
within,
rate, yeah,
the failure rate
higher than
quit-
like restaurants and stuff.
yeah, they quit within their first 3-4 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
Yeah, it's hard, because I was listening to I told you I was listening to a Tom Ferry episode, and he was talking about that your first 5 years as an agent, you're kind of like still learning.
Yeah, still
and
trying
it's
to
like,
figure it out.
and most people quit within those first years.
Yeah.
So it's like, you didn't even.
Well, I mean, it's because of the way real estate's portrayed, man. Like on TV,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, shows, things like that. It's like they just show up, show the house, and
Yeah.
then and then they got the commission check. It says at the bottom, 26,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's portrayed in a way that like, and it's portrayed that way, and then I guess the public sentiment is also like, realtors they don't do much. You know what I mean? It's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy. People are just going to call you and you're going to sell houses. You know what I mean? So in that sense, and, let's be honest, also, there's a low threshold of entry. Like, what is it, 60 hours?
Yeah, 60 hours.
And a state exam?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not to say that exam's easy, right?
No.
But the threshold to become a licensed professional isn't that high in real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people have gotten their license pretty quick.
And that's what I'm saying. See, that's the thing, and that's the thing. When you first come into the business, you think once you're licensed, you're a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, you're just licensed. Like,
Yeah.
You don't even know what to do, like how to get a client and things like
And
that.
then
Right?
and then I think people don't talk enough about the other set of skills that you have to learn, develop if you don't already have them coming into this business.
Yeah.
It's not just, here's a bunch of leads,
Yeah.
go crazy,
Yeah.
go make some money. No, it's you have to become a lead magnet, and you also have to learn marketing. You have to learn all these other skills that have to do with you have to learn sales. You got to learn to talk to people.
Yeah.
I know for me, I've talked about this a couple of times. By nature, I was an introvert. It's not. I'm not the person that goes initiates conversations with random strangers.
Yeah.
But being in this business, I've had to learn to like, hey, I gotta be outspoken. I gotta be able to just be able to spark random conversations to people. But and, it's certain skills that you have to learn.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's like Batman's utility belt. You have to have tools for certain situations. You know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. So the way it's perceived, the way it's portrayed, so a lot of people jumped in.
Yeah.
And it was easy for like a year or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really easy. You know what I mean? And now times are tougher. Now it's like you actually got to grind, you got to work.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have to have all these other skills. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's happening, man. And then people are up against it. Hey, you go a year, without money coming in. I mean,
Yeah.
it's scary to anybody. I don't care how much savings you have. That's scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Especially if you have a family. People.
if you have obligations,
Yeah,
responsibilities.
you have responsibilities. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I mean, to me, it makes perfect sense.
But it's not all doom and gloom, though.
No, I mean, for me, it's not. You know what I mean? I get it. No, I think like in anything else, man, the cream rises to the top. And that's just what it is, So the better agents that actually have some kind of plan and strategy on how to help people, and they can provide value, like you said earlier, I think those people are winning right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely an opportunity for the good agents, the ones that have been looking for an opportunity to take market share and like take their business to the next level. I think this is, you can look at it as, doom, but there's opportunity to be had.
Hey, like shout outs to Ricky Cruz. Like Ricky Cruz says, man, hey, there's closings every day.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not closing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But real estate, there's transactions every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just got to go out and get a piece of that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. But, I mean, right now, right? I think AI is going to be a big proponent to everything it's going to affect the real estate world a lot.
Yeah.
And then I've told you, we've had these conversations way back, when, ChatGPT first came out.
Yeah.
And I told you, I was like, yo, have you heard about this new AI? I was like,
it's the future, bro.
It's crazy. And, and ever since then, we're kind of moving into this AI era of like everything where eventually I think it's going to get to, you ever seen the movie WALL-E?
Yeah, of course.
Where humans are just like,
on the chairs,
you don't got to do nothing.
floating around.
And that's kind of scary, but it's like, we're not there yet, but I feel like eventually, right?
Depopulation. Nah, but yeah, man. So in the real estate space, it's crazy right now. But like I said, people that understand what it is right now are coming out on top, man. But the AI, see, to me, it's interesting, right? Because I saw the disruptors like Amazon, like Netflix. I saw these things happening, and then I was like, "Damn, man, how is the internet going to disrupt real estate?" Right? And actually, nah, man, it's the other way. It just helped it. Like, you know what I mean? It's put information, because it is information, right? It's just data faster in the people's hands. You know what I mean? So you as an agent, like, you have to keep up with that, right? But it's not a bad thing.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing for the agents that don't adapt it.
Oh yeah,
agents who
definitely.
don't learn it, right? Because they're gonna be it's leverage at the end of the day. You can leverage all these AIs,
all the technology, man.
All the technology.
But you see what I'm saying? The internet didn't really come. Like, people thought early on, like Zillow was the disruptor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the Netflix of real estate. Like, oh man, like everyone's just gonna go buy real estate on Zillow now, and it's gonna replace agents. And none of that shit happened. You know what I mean? What happened was Zillow saw, they were like, all right, well, all the people are coming to us. The agents want to get in touch with the people. Let's just charge the agents to connect with the people, and that was their business model. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now another thing is like, if with this lawsuit that's have the class action lawsuit that's going on right now, what's gonna come out of that? The changes. I think and you've mentioned this a couple times. I think it's gonna. There's definitely a change coming. What it's gonna be, whether buyer agent compensations are gonna be gone, or how that buyer commission, how that's gonna end up going, who knows?
Well, let's talk a little bit about what's happening. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, go ahead. Let's talk about what's going on.
Well, I mean, I don't know all the details, but you said there's a pending lawsuit. Basically, from my understanding, there's a class action lawsuit against some of the big brokerages in the United States, right? Like some of the big names, and it was because basically they're not telling they're not being, let's say, all the way truthful in how they're splitting up the commission that they've negotiated with the seller. Because how it works in real estate is, when I sit in front of a seller, I negotiate a commission, but then out of that commission, I have to go pay. I advertise that I'm sharing this commission with whoever brings me a buyer, right? That's technically how it works. Okay, so these people just weren't truthful in the sense of remember we were talking about how the market was just good. You know what I mean? You could just move property. So these people basically, they sat down with sellers and said, hey, I'm going to charge you X, and X is going to go to finding a buyer's agent or paying a buyer's agent, attracting a buyer's agent to bring us a buyers for your house, right? But then what was happening is, let's say they just found the buyer, so they were cutting out that other agent basically, right? And kind of just keeping the majority of the commission to themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, does it really change the seller's bottom line? No, because the same number is being taken out. But are you doing a seller a disservice? Because now, you know, the whole point that you said, that you told the seller, was that you needed this part of the commission so you can attract people, right? So what's going to be more attractive, like, you know, the commission, you know, a higher commission or lower commission? So are you doing a disservice by attracting less people by offering less commission at the end of the day, and then you're pocketing the rest? So what happened with that is now, you know, all the whole country is split up into different areas, regions, right? And there's different MLS, multiple listing services, for that region, for that area. And what's happening now, instead of trying to get involved and deciding, you know, okay, well, what the commission should be and this and that, they're just saying, hey, you know what? We'll let you guys just offer up a zero commission, and then it's up to the market to figure it out. We don't want to be involved, right? Yeah. So that's the thing. As your agent, right, when I'm looking for houses, I also, you know, this is how I make my living. This is how I feed my family. I also look, hey, what's my compensation going to be if I bring a buyer to this listing, right? And that's the fear now, that if it says zero there, right, as your buyer's agent, I have two choices. Either skip that house, right, not show it to you because it's not going to pay me anything, or come to you as the buyer and say, hey, Mr. Buyer, look, there's this house. It fits the criteria of what you're looking for, but they're not compensating me. So guess who has to compensate me?
Yeah.
You, Mr. Buyer.
And then that could affect if depending on your buyer's budget, if he doesn't have the savings to cover
your commission,
then it's like, but then don't you think that leaves room for AI to step in and be like, hey, I just need you to write the contract?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's where it's going.
That's the dangerous thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
for buyer's agents at least, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a strong listing game, then you're good.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
And then just pay an agent $100. Go open this door. Let's see the property. AI writes up
the buyer side is going to get devalued, or is being devalued.
Yeah.
But that's where you got to show value too.
Yeah.
Because see, that's what happens though when those things happen. It's a new way of doing it, but not everyone can adapt to that new way.
Exactly.
And it doesn't work for everyone. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, man, the reason we're even sitting here having a podcast and all that is because real estate is a people business. You know what I mean? Information, you know, AI, you know, technology is going to have the stranglehold, the chokehold on the information.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, who's delivering the information? How are they delivering it? You know what I mean? Because are people going to really have the time to put in the work like a real estate agent puts in? No, because they have their own lives and their own jobs. You know what I mean? So it's going somewhere, Carlos. I don't know. Like I'm not smart enough to put it all together where it's going. But it's like the buyer side is being devalued. And then from what I understand, like you were mentioning Tom Ferry earlier, he mentions a lot on how real estate doesn't work the way it works here in the United States and other parts of the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not buyer representation.
I definitely think that there's still a human element of this business that can't easily be replaced.
It just won't.
It can't, because it's you know, with every client, every buyer that we've worked with, we built up a sort of relationship.
Yeah, rapport.
You know? Rapport. You know, it's like, you know, because it's a journey. It's not a process that takes, you know, 1 week, 2 weeks. You know, sometimes it's months that we spend looking for a house for a client. you know, and it's not because we're bad at our job. It's because market conditions, inventory, low inventory, you know, it may be
Unrealistic expectations.
unrealistic
You know what I
expectations,
mean?
you know. So it's all these factors where it's like human elements that AI can't replace yet.
Yeah.
And I see it. I find it very hard that it's gonna happen anytime soon, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you call the doctor, you call the school or something, and then there's some robot voice that answers the phone. If you have this issue, press 1. This issue, press 2. This issue, press 3. And 9 times out of 10, I always wait until I can speak to a representative, because I don't want to speak to a robot and then they don't get the issue correct.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I feel like it's very similar to that with real estate. Somebody wants to have their specific issues addressed, and
it's so specific in real estate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm like, man, like, how do you? It's just tough. Like, I guess being in the business is tough to understand. I can understand how AI is gonna revolutionize, or is revolutionizing already, the delivery of information. You know what I mean? But then it's like, still, when you have that information, there's still decisions to be made. You know what I mean? And in real estate, like everyone would just say, real estate's not all black and white. Like it's not like when you call a phone company and they're gonna say, "Do you have a problem with your phone bill?" Like, you know, press 1. Like, if you do that real estate, there's gonna be, you know, 8,000 options. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's too difficult, and how do you navigate that? And then, you know, real estate, there's a feeling to it too, man. Like how can I put it? Like, the house looks good, but then you go and the neighborhood doesn't feel right. You know, I've heard that. You know what I mean? Like, the house just doesn't feel right, Renee. Like, yeah, it's the right square footage, it's in the area we want, but it doesn't have the feeling of a home for me. You see what I'm saying? How does the AI replace that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's sticking with that neighborhood example you just gave. It's just like, you know, when you read a review of a restaurant or a neighborhood, for example, I mean, it's not going to be the same as you hearing it from somebody who lives in that neighborhood, from somebody who has gone and ate from that restaurant. You know, that review is going to be different, because it's like, you know, they've done it. You know, if it's in the neighborhood, they've lived there for years. They know more in detail, like, you know, what it really is. You know,
and it's something that you said too right there, man. Like, dude, real estate is hyper local. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you know, how does the algorithm know that on Main Street in Milwaukee, you know, this is the price? Like, you know, that's why in our industry we make fun of estimates and things like that. Because I mean, like, you know, you can have all the technology and algorithms and all you want, but at the end of the day, it's too much variety. You know what I'm saying? It's two different markets are just different, man. And how can it just give you a metric that covers the whole market? Yeah, it's impossible. You know what I mean? So that's where, but you know, I guess technology can get hyper local too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, it's not something that with time that it won't get fixed, or they won't focus on those things, but where we got to remember, right? All this AI stuff is still new.
Yeah.
We're still very, very early onto all this technology. Even though to us is mind blowing, like what it can already do, even though it's just like a newborn child. But where the potential that this technology has, like at the rate that it's growing, like it's insane. So it's like, you know,
everyone's looking at it differently, man. You know, because that's the thing. Like you said, it's a baby, so they're trying to figure it out. Like on the agent side, agents are spending money right now on AI. You know, trying to figure out how to go through leads and you know, convert leads faster, right? Title companies are trying to use blockchain. You know what I mean? And also AI. You know what I mean? On how to protect the titles and how we deliver better service for the client with the title. Lenders, you know, they're using AI to eliminate the loan officer, and they kind of have a robot take you through the whole process. You see what I'm saying? So, like, every part of the industry is affected, and then everybody's trying to figure out how to use it to best serve. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, though, because I think up to this point, with the internet now being, you know, what, 20, 30 years old, like, I think we figured out that in real estate, internet technology, AI, I don't think it's going to replace that human element, because it just simply can't. You know what I mean?
It's very hard to replace that human to human conversation, connection. Like, you know, even if it could, we're far. We're still.
We're not
far,
there yet.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're
you
not
know?
there yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet where people are just gonna buy a house because the algorithm told them.
Yeah.
to. Not yet.
Yeah.
So
even, even though with like I've seen like crypto. Crypto is the crypto space is doing something with real estate also.
Yeah, of course.
Like they're trying to simplify, make the home buying process easier. Because there's a lot of paperwork involved with real estate and all this stuff. I've also been keeping my eye on that type of technology, and it sounds cool, right? What they're trying to do is like basically get it to a point where I just send you how I can transfer you like
you can just transfer me the title.
Yeah, transfer everything, and it's all on the blockchain.
Yeah. Exactly. Title.
That's amazing.
Yeah, title makes sense in that. Like how they're going to keep titles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can see in that space how blockchain is going to help that space. You know what I mean? Because nobody's going to be able to fuck with your title. You know what I mean? Like, it'll eliminate title fraud, basically.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So we'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I said we're still far. We're still pretty. I like to say we're still pretty far from everything. All of this stuff being like perfected.
Yeah.
So,
or just even figuring out how they can apply it in the space. You know what I mean?
And then it has to go through regulations and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, the government's got to get involved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, but what is interesting though is that buyer representation though, because how I understand it, especially, or just here in the United States, or at least in the East Coast or in Maryland, let's say, there was never buyer representation. It was always the seller put up their house for sale with an agent, and the buyers just kind of found the house. You know what I mean? And eventually, the buyer was like, wait a second, like. Who's looking out for me? You see what I'm saying? And then they figured, I don't know how it happened, but they figured out, all right, well, buyer can have representation now, and the seller's going to pay for it. You see what I'm saying? Which is, if you think about it, it is a little backwards. You know what I mean? Like, why would the seller pay for your representation in a negotiation against myself?
Yeah.
It's tough. You know what I mean?
That's something that a lot of people having home buyers or people in general that want to buy a house don't really realize how highly leveraged the buying side is.
Yeah.
They're not paying commission on their end.
No.
They're being represented, for free.
Basically, usually, right?
You're being walked through the whole process,
for free, giving all the information up front for free.
And we're not getting paid by,
nobody's paying us.
Yeah. And then, but they're still worried about,
Yeah, I mean, the broker will tell you, look, it's not the seller paying anymore. Like the seller just paid a commission to have their house sold, right? And now as the broker, we're going to pay a commission, and they're right. Like at the end of the day, in writing, the broker is the one paying the commission. It's not the seller anymore. The seller just agreed to a number to sell their house.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? The thing is the way it's explained, or the way you're taught when you go on listing presentations, things like that, is like, hey, so it doesn't shock them that you're going to charge them 5 or 6%. Remind them that you're only getting half of that, and you're using the other half to attract the buyer. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, all this money doesn't go to me.
Basically,
I'm not getting paid all this.
And that's why, hey, when Redfin first came in, and at least into this space, into this area, bro, there was a lot of Redfin signs up. Like Redfin was dominating, bro, because they came up with a different model. They're like, hey, we're not worried about the buyer. We're just going to charge you 1% to list your home. You see what I'm saying? Then they kind of wouldn't tell the consumer, and then but that's what Redfin has a kind of a bad rep now, because they're like, oh, but you didn't tell me I have to pay these fees and stuff like that, because Redfin would just tell you, hey, 1% to list, and then the buyer would come around. And it's like, hey, we got to pay the buyer now. And be like, well, you didn't really disclose that to me. You didn't really tell me. Well, that's just how it is. You said 1%. It is 1% just for me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of like a little tricky.
It's a gray line.
A little gray area. So obviously they came out, when they first came out, they were doing rebates. Like Redfin killed the market share. But then when people realized, wait a second, the person represent the way they're able to do this 1% thing is because the person that they sent for me it's an hourly employee. Like, a salaried employee, this person doesn't care about the commission. You know what I mean? So how hard are they really going to go? How hard are they really going to work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and then that's another thing, right? We don't get paid until we've walked through the whole transaction, until it's done.
Until you get the keys.
Until you get the keys.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we're, I'd say, like, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I care more, me personally, and you guys do too. We care more about leaving a good impression for the client, because it's a
You're
work.
You're gonna pay it anyways.
Yeah,
Whether you do a bad job selling the house or a good job selling it, you're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
Might as well do a good job.
Yeah,
You
but
know what I mean?
it's
That's the way I look
about
at it.
word of mouth. That's how we get more business,
Yeah,
right?
I tell all the clients that up front.
Referrals.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if I did a good job, would you recommend me to somebody else? And they'll tell you if you did a good job at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, and then you'll see it at the end of the day when their cousins, their aunts, their whatever calls you. Like, hey,
I just got invited to a carne asada this domingo.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, when the clients are happy, they're happy, bro. They'll let you know.
Can I come?
Why not?
No, this weekend I'm busy.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop by for a little bit though. You know, they're inviting me.
Where is that?
One
No,
of
you
those.
got to.
Temple Hills.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's dry for you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a drive, but you know, free food, bro.
course.
Maybe some more clients out of it.
No, of course. Hey,
know what I mean?
yeah, you got that one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, man, it's awesome when you build that relationship, you know what I mean, with your clients and stuff.
Yes.
But that's where Carlitos, that's where I see it coming, man. I just think it was easier for the buyer's agent because you just go, hey, don't worry about it. They're gonna pay me. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot harder now. Now you're gonna have to justify your value.
Yeah.
When you see that zero, you're like, fuck, man. Like, all right, the buyer has to pay. How am I gonna explain it to the buyer? Like now you gotta come up with a game plan and be like, look, bro, this is everything I'm gonna do for you. You know what I mean? Like you need to show your value, so that people will be like, you know what? Yeah, you're worth it, bro. I need to buy a house, so let me pay you. Let me pay you your fee.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to like we've talked about. It's the value proposition. The value that we're gonna be bringing to the table for them. You know, in order for it to be like, okay, I need you on my side, so I'm gonna pay for that 2.5%.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, you're the guy, so I'm gonna pay your fee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's what lawyers. This is my fee.
And then it's gonna come down, and then it's gonna come down to like what separates you from the other agents.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
like it is on the listing side.
yeah.
You know what I mean? On the listing side, you got to show your worth. You know, if you want the listing, you know. What I mean?
Like you said, it's just gonna separate the good agents from the great.
I
agents.
think so. Yeah. The agents that actually have a game plan and can actually communicate their value. These are the people that are gonna win, bro. If things change, you know.
Yeah.
I don't. It's hard for me to see things change. Meaning like everyone's just gonna go to zero commission. I think that's tough. You know what I mean? Because if you're a really good listing agent, you know, like it's facts. If you put zero on that thing, there's gonna be people that just skip over your listing, man.
And it's still gonna hurt a lot of people who want to buy, especially if they're first time home buyers, bro. It's like it already takes them a long time to save up for a house, you know. And then it's like on top of that, now you have to put aside money for in case you have to pay for a buyer agent's commission. That's gonna hurt the market, bro.
Yeah, and then what's it called? I've heard that in some situations you can roll it into their loan.
Yeah,
and that's gonna depend lender to lender.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Overlays.
And you know what? A $10,000 commission. You know that's gonna up their payment a little.
And even then, it's gonna up their payment, reduce their buying power.
Yeah,
it's gonna really hit them.
Yeah, man. So we'll see where it goes, man. But that's what's happening right now. I mean, you know, just to get a little pulse on the agent side, of the professional side, right?
Yeah, and just to wrap up this episode, where predictions? Let's do predictions. Okay, where do you think the real estate industry is going with the class action lawsuit and AI stepping in? Like, where do you see it going? Just if you had.
Man, I mean, like you said, I see it like it's in the starting, phases of everything, right? So, like I said, I honestly don't know, man. I don't know where it's gonna go. It's too hard to predict. But I do think, like I told you, I don't think when everybody talks about these things, they talk about gloom and doom, like this is gonna come and crush real estate agents. I don't think so, man. I think we're gonna figure it out. The industry's gonna figure it out and see how we can leverage it to better help clients, like we always do, like we did with the internet. People thought the internet was going to destroy real estate because now you can just buy the houses online, and that shit ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? You see them online now. Like we figured out how to use them. I can send you a little website of a house now. Like we figured that shit out, bro. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's a commission based business. We have to figure shit out. That's our job. You know what I'm saying? So. I think as an industry, we're just going to take the technology and use it to our benefit to better help clients. Now, that might take a little bit. It might take a little trial and error. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately that's what's going to happen. I don't think this ends it for real estate agents.
Right.
Know what I mean?
Exactly. I completely agree with that point. I feel like AI, at least in my lifetime, maybe our lifetimes, we won't see it replace real estate agents because it's people need specific problems fixed in every specific situation. So.
Yeah. Personal problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So and for me, I think it's all it's gonna be come down to the agents who learn how to leverage it instead of looking at it like you said, like doom and gloom, like oh, this is gonna replace me. No, this is gonna enhance my capabilities. Maybe I no longer need those extra 3 employees, or now I can leverage AI to do it for me. Yeah, it's just all perspective, and like you said, the cream rises to the top. That's all. That's all it is at the end of the day.
I mean, it's a survival of the fittest business. It's
Yeah,
that's
it
just
is.
the nature of our business.
is.
You know
It
what I'm
is.
saying? Yeah. So
Okay, all right. Well, this has been I think this has been a great episode.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
We're just doing it off the top, real quick.
off the top. Yeah,
In the new setup. Let's see how the new setup looks. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
We guys, we literally spent like 2 hours, 2 hours setting this up. Let us know what you guys think. It's not perfect, but it works. And shout out to KTL Title.
Shout out to KTL, man.
That's our preferred title company. They do great work. If any agents out there need a title company, look them up.
Definitely recommend
Great-
them here.
great service.
Here in the DMV.
Yeah. Shout out to Steve and Stephanie.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah, man. Reach out
And
to
the
them.
whole team. Yeah. Guys, any note you want to leave on? Any shout outs? Any upcoming projects we got coming?
Edwin, anything?
What are you most excited for about this year or this coming year?
70,000 agents exiting the business.
Exactly. We get 70,000 agents leaving. We got a chance to really capitalize and take our business to the next level.
Yeah.
Really demonstrate our skills, our value, and why we're the agents not leaving
Yeah, exactly.
compared to the ones that are leaving. We'll demonstrate.
We're starting podcasts, bro. I don't know what other people are doing.
Facts.
Yeah, we're quitting real estate, starting the podcast.
Yeah, but we need you folks. We need you. We need your support, man.
Yes. If you guys made it to the end, make sure you leave us a review, leave us a comment, leave us any feedback, give us ideas. And if you're somebody listening and you're in the real estate business or somebody that's in an interesting industry and would like to come on the podcast, please hit us up. Our email is going to be in the description. And we will see you guys in the next episode.